Welcome back to Carneades.org. Today we're going to be continuing our series, Dumbfounding Definitions, Dizzying Distinctions, and Diabolical Doctrines, a series sorting through some of the jargon of philosophy. In this video, we are going to be looking at universals versus particulars. Now, think for a moment about properties such as redness, squareness, being in love, or being handwritten. It seems that, for example, of any two red delicious apples, we can say they have many things in common. Roundness, redness, they have those properties. The property of roundness is in both of those apples. The property of redness is in both of those apples. The property of appleness is in both of those apples. But how can this be? Since it means that redness, the thing redness, is wholly in two different places at once. We're not claiming that only part of redness is present in each apple, in the same way that you might say that a book can be present in many different pages because there's many different pages of that book, and if I rip out a page of that book, part of the book can be somewhere else. But we're saying that the whole of that is in multiple places at once. The whole of a particular book is in separate places. For example, the whole of Dante's Inferno can be in several different places at once because that book that was written can have multiple copies of it. In the same way that red can be in two different places at once. It's wholly in those two different places at once. It's not just a part. But how is that possible? Because that means that the same thing, that redness, is in two separate objects. It is two separate objects. How can we reconcile this idea that the same thing can't be in two different places at once and the idea that multiple different objects can share the same properties? Well, some philosophers do this with an appeal to something known as universals. Universals are properties which may be instantiated by different objects in different places. Redness may be instantiated by an apple, a riding hood, and an eye completely separate from each other. Something is a universal if it may be fully instantiated in multiple different objects. So the property or the universal of being Dante's Inferno could be instantiated in several different books that are written on different paper, that are bound in different ways, that have different cover art. But that doesn't pose a contradiction because universals can be instantiated into different places. And wholly instantiated. It's not just a part, it's the whole universal there. Particulars, on the other hand, are going to contrast with universals. Particulars are the specific objects which cannot be instantiated in different locations. Usually, these are the objects which in fact instantiate universals. The book on my table is a particular that instantiates the universal of bookness. The apple that I'm eating is a particular that instantiates redness, sweetness, roundness, and so on. Now, generally, universals are conceived of as abstract objects, and if you watched our video on abstract objects, you should see a lot of similarities. Abstract objects, remember, are not spatiotemporal. They don't exist in time or space, or they don't interact causally. Watch the video for more information. Some philosophers, like D.M. Armstrong, though, claim that universals, in fact, are concrete. Because he's someone that doubts the existence of abstract objects, but he doesn't doubt the existence of universals. He's a nominalist about abstract objects, but not about universals. So for Armstrong, universals actually exist physically in time and space. One of these days, we're going to have to go into all of Armstrong's metaphysics, but that's a topic for another video. Other philosophers yet claim that particulars themselves may be abstract, and use these to replace the need for universals. Abstract particulars are known as tropes. Philosophical tropes, not something else. These theories claim that, in fact, there is nothing shared between two red delicious apples. They both possess different particular abstract properties of redness, known as tropes. This one has red 1, this has red 2. No matter how similar they look, they possess different abstract properties, because those are particular. They're not instantiated in different places. What do you think? Do universals exist? Are they abstract or particular? Write your answers in the comments below. Watch this video and more here at Carneades.org, and stay skeptical, everybody.